have to be escorted down the aisle by your father. You have to wear the white wedding dress. You have to bear with your Auntie Tess. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you'll have a wedding mess. You can't defy tradition. Weddings truly offer us a chance to celebrate with friends and family. But it is never a jolly situation when you are faced with "you have to" addicts trying to drive you to social guilt.
You must do this.
This breed will stop at nothing to push their newfangled notions of a wedding down the bride's throat. Never mind that most of such ideas are born from the kind of wedding the advisor grew up with.
When I settled for my colors, burnt orange, gold and black, they were against the black.
Sometimes the wedding they never had.
Like my mother-in-law says, you cannot put on a sleeveless dress.
They are every bride's nightmare. Right from the minute Evelyn Otella announced her engagement to Moses Moibi, she got serenaded with a little number called "You Have To."
The color you've chosen is wrong. You cannot use this one, you cannot do that one.
She has heard it all.
Someone was saying, you should have your photo session at Norfolk, because I did mine there. And also another one says, you must have it this place. My cousin did theirs there. And when I tell them where I want, they're like, oh gosh, tell me why. This is what I want.
But this bride and groom are not ones to be easily swayed.
I don't want roses. And in the committee, of course, people don't understand. They want you to do things their way.
Evelyn was a medical student when she met Moibi in the company of a friend.
It was him, the wife, and his cousin, who happens to be him. It took him 1 or 2 months to call.
I was still thinking, is she the right person for me?
And even then, she stood her ground.
The way I was brought up, I can't call him. I mean, if he wants to talk to me, let him call me. Why should I call him?
2 months later, Moibi got the nerve to call. And their first date, if there was any, turned into a football disaster.
Went for a football match. I think Arambe Stars was playing an international game. So I had gone to Kasarani. Initially when we started dating, I let her know, and I made it very clear to her that I do play football.
She gave him a second chance on her birthday, which he equally blew thanks to his love of football.
Can you imagine someone is asking you out, then you go and he's busy watching football in a sports bar and he's not even talking to you. So I left him there.
The groom plays as a midfielder in a social football club.
We have a club. It's composed of Kenyans and other foreigners who are staying in Kenya, working and living here.
He may have a passion for football, but Moibi is a certified civil lawyer by profession.
The way we were brought up, football didn't have, sports generally didn't have, our parents said you cannot earn a living from sport.
Could be his parents were right after all, for he now wins decent bread running his law firm.
I do more of the civil practice.
He has since learnt to guard the middle field.
Over time, I had to strike a balance. She likes watching movies. We agreed we struck a balance. And I give her time for her movies. And she also gives me my time when I'm going to play football.
And with the midfielder in perfect coordination with the defence,
we actually became friends.
The two finally stuck together.
We started living together in 2005 when I had my first baby.
It's been 3 years down the line.
He proposed in 2006. And as you can see, we did the wedding in 2009. But he did not want this committee business.
And after taking the "you have to" addict's advice with a grain of salt, the bride is having her wedding her way, and her knight in shining armour is ready to save the damsel in distress.
When the time came, he told me, now I have the money. And he opened an account and he put all the money there and said, fine, Spend it now.
Carol's wedding, on the other hand, is going to be largely set in tradition.
I dreamt of a big wedding, not a very small one.
So even when the groom would love a minimalist approach,
I'd always wanted a small wedding. Maybe a Friday afternoon, get close relatives, friends, we go to church. After that, now we go for dinner. About 50 to 100 people.
You enjoy it with people you've grown up with, people you've met along the way, your relatives. Because I think like a number like 50, sincerely, it will be limiting people.
It's about us. You know, after
Yeah,
now,
you see, you do not live in this world alone.
the bride is set for her big is better wedding.
and you can't invite everyone.
Exactly, but at least you invite around 400 as opposed to the 50.
She is not about to deal with the nagging of the you have to addicts.
So by the time you start explaining, you know it's not possible to give everyone a card. Yeah, some people can make you feel like you've done something terribly wrong by not giving them a card.
And so the gates to her big white wedding are wide open. But just how did Carol meet the father of her child?
The person who was supposed to be hooked up with was her cousin.
Patrick was meeting Carol's cousin on a blind date.
They were supposed to meet at around 5 after work. She decided just to play along.
And somehow Carol got mixed up in the plan and tagged along.
So when we met him, we just said hi. First of all, he was late. Imagine the first date. We had to do the waiting and we did not even know who we were waiting for.
Upon his arrival, Patrick literally went blind with love at first sight.
I got attracted to her the first time I saw her, so
It was rather awkward.
They got past the awkwardness and in fact, the said cousin will be attending the wedding.
Yes, she's happily married.
Sooner than later, their bundle of joy came along.
You know, baby comes with its finances, then a wedding. So we decided we first do the baby, then the wedding will come later.
And this bundle brought with it some baggage.
We were not very ready for a wedding then, although that is what our parents really wanted.
but we went for the formal introductions and everything.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, that's why the parents allowed us to live together anyway.
It took them 2 years of raising the baby to get to the wedding plans.
After now 2 more years, that's when I got the guts to propose.
And just like the traditional groom, Patrick went down on one knee to pop the question on Carol's birthday.
It was a Saturday, I remember. So we went to a restaurant. So as we were enjoying, he started talking. And I was like, where is that coming from? You know, those things that we've been together for so long. Yeah, he talked. I was like, why are you telling me all this now? Then eventually he was like, and for all these many reasons, I will, what did he say?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me? Then he went on his knee. I was like, oh my God.
It is indeed time to make things right.
Yes, it's a long time.
And the bride has to have a church wedding.
I've always wanted a church wedding, at least to, you know, it feels like we've been living illegally for 4 years.
She will be making her grand entrance in a white number. And of course, both parents are escorting her down the aisle. Trading off their preferred wedding date was not enough.
The same cousin we were talking about wedded in November. So as we saw, that's too much of weddings in one family.
They are also succumbing to the pressure of an all-inclusive bridal party.
I don't think it's a very big number. A friend, a relative, what else? A colleague. At least he tried to incorporate everyone.
But with the bride and groom already having planning nightmares,
I was dreaming that the wedding day is tomorrow. I do not have my dress. I do not have my shoes. I have nothing. I need to do so many things. Then I just woke up almost crying.
we can only hope that come wedding day, these nightmares will remain just that, bad dreams. Coming up, Evelyn and Moibi have decided that they don't have to sing anyone's tune. They are sending the "you have to" addicts to hell.
Where did these things come from that I cannot see her dress?
I wouldn't mind him singing.
And it is 3 months to Carol and Patrick's big white wedding, and nothing but the cake is in place.
The only thing we were sure about was Valentine cake.
For starters, the word committee does not exist in their wedding planning jargon.
He doesn't like it at all. And I believe even his friends know that. You don't call him for a committee to come, I don't know, contribute money. He says if it's your wedding, then just do it. Just do the wedding that you can afford.
And they don't have to constrict themselves to wed inside a church. So 9 months to the wedding, they have landed themselves a venue.
My view was that if I'm to do a wedding, it will be in a garden setup.
The bride will be walking down the aisle in a white wedding dress for sure. But last time she checked, she doesn't have to have a tiara or lengthy gloves on. She has no fancy for roses, and her bridesmaids don't have to carry flowers. Even she will not carry your normal bridal bouquet of flowers. But they come from 2 different communities.
I come from Kisii, she comes from Western.
And before they go through with their African theme,
It's meant to be African. The food is mainly African. The entertainment is African. And for the decor, instead of using vases and all that, I don't want anything like vases for the centerpieces or something like that. Instead, I'm opting for bamboos. And the cake is also African.
maybe there's one thing they have to do.
He has to go all the way to Ekabula, and then the people have to go to Kisii.
Diversity may be the strength of stronger knots.
The only difference I found is when we went to pay the dowry. And there are so many demands by the mother, the uncles, and which is not common. It's not common in the Kisii.
But then again, who said you have to honor tradition?
My mother-in-law told me, you have to cook like ugali for them. But I mean, I'm not going to do that.
The bride is clear on how she will handle her end of the bargain. But for the groom,
Of course, the chicken thing. We don't respect the chicken. Chicken is for children, and I mean, chicken is not an official food where I come from. What I expect is at least to kill several goats. But for them, chicken is their favorite.
this is one bridge he'll have to cross when he gets there.
So how can my mother go there and be served chicken?
In the meantime, the wedding plans are on course.
I'm from seeing the cards, and they're beautiful. You'll see them on the wedding day, because especially the thank you notes.
And if there is one thing she has to do, it is to look trim and fit on her wedding day. Being a nurse, the bride knows that you are what you eat.
By then I've changed my gown like 3 times. The first time I was a size 16. And I promised myself I'm not going to wear a size 16 dress on my wedding day. So when I went back, I had cut to a size 14. So I had to change because the first gown was not there in a size 14. Then the third time I went back, I was a size 10.
And burning a few clean calories goes a long way.
I go to Nairobi Club, try some.
The girls are getting just the right look to qualify being on the lineup.
She wanted an African theme, and she had her colors set. This is slab silk, top in the range fabric. We had to emphasize her bust, and then that is why we used a high waist for her belt.
I've never really worn an African outfit, and this is my first time. I think I'm in love with African outfits now.
As for Carol and Patrick, it is 3 months to D-Day. And nothing but the cake is in place.
The only thing we were sure about was Valentine cake. I like their cakes, especially the Black Forest. Yeah.
Their daughter is celebrating her 4th birthday on her parents' wedding day.
First of all, my daughter will be celebrating her birthday that day.
Wow.
Yes,
So she has
so she has a different cake, a totally different design from ours, and it's a different flavor.
And she is going to be the star girl.
Today I have the baby. I was taking her for her fitting.
They intend to cut their favorite white forest cake.
Problem was the chocolates, the white flakes. These ones we didn't have, but now we have.
But a forest black or white is a fresh cake.
Although again, you have to consider that it's a fresh cake melting if it's hot.
And that means the bride only gets to see her cake on the day.
I would rather we bring the cake like an hour, 45 minutes. We've never failed anyone. That is why people always like the white forest, and they've never seen it before the wedding.
With a resounding assurance from her baker, the only thing worrying the bride is her decor. To make up for lost time, the bride has settled on a one-stop supplier, 2.5 months to the wedding.
We want to decide on the flowers the mates will be carrying. Yeah. There's some few designs we had spotted, but they'll do a conclusive thing on Saturday with my head decor. Yeah, they have a small meeting on Saturday. So what I expect is just something beautiful.
Our bouquet at least should not clash with the colors of our wedding. It is chocolate brown and gold. How many flower
You
girls?
said four for the maids and then 4 for the flower girls.
Yeah,
But now the flower girls are 2,
they are 2, yeah?
so you can afford.
So for the flower girls, you can do baskets.
They are exchanging their Catholic vows at the Consolata shrine, and the florist has to adhere to the church's rules.
We have to know the order of the masses in Consolata. With Consolata, it cannot be done on Friday. It has to be done on Saturday. And at a certain particular time, they will tell us.
The decor has been decided upon. But there is just one detail left to complete the picture.
My dress. There were some few complications as at yesterday. They were waiting for their luggage to come by yesterday, by sometime next week. But somehow they got the wrong package. Their package went to Nigeria.
And the bride's gown is missing.
So when is her dress arriving?
I don't know, I'm not sure, but in the next 2 weeks to come.
2 weeks? You're kidding.
But
I still Saturday. I still Saturday.
I'm not sure about it.
Back to Evelyn and Moibi. It is 3 weeks to the wedding, and the bride decides to check on the flower girls' dresses.
This Evelyn bride, she came to us about 3 months ago. Okay, she had some very crazy ideas. She changed a lot. She used to come with a design. She goes, she sees a different gown. She wants this. She comes, changes again.
And when it comes to what she wants,
The material was supposed to go around it. It was supposed to be like a sash. But we couldn't get enough of the material.
well, she gets just that.
We might have, when I go to Mihachi, we might have. Because like this,
What she wants.
generally I like the outfit. It has come out well, apart from that band that is missing.
The groom, too, is ready for his grooming, and he doesn't have to honor the Western tradition of wearing a tuxedo.
Sweetie, how do I look? Am I ready?
His linen suit will do just fine, and to complement his informal look, he is wearing a scarf tie. Some wedding beliefs can really suck.
Where did these things come from that I cannot see her dress? I can't even buy for her.
But well, who cares?
I'm told it's bad omen for him to see my dress. I wouldn't mind him seeing it.
What matters is that the bride and groom like what they see.
It's a special look.
I like how he looks.
The wedding day countdown is on. With 10 days to the wedding, it is time to discuss matters pertaining to hair and beauty.
I don't want my hair hanging, but but I'd prefer something maybe tied up in a bun with some tendrils hanging.
Something nice and elegant.
I want to look elegant.
We have to look elegant. Makeup, have to make sure you're as natural as possible.
All seems to be on course until 2 days to the wedding.
I have just come from doing a cake. It's not yet ready as I'd expected.
There is no wedding cake.
It does make me anxious because it's 2 days to the wedding day.
And to send the bride straight on panic mode, there is an emergency.
There's a problem with where I was supposed to come from, Lavington.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell me what it is.
Maybe someone needs to call 911.
They have not finished the final touches with the place. There is some final touches.
Final touches meaning what?
Some little, those little bit of
Which
finishing.
little bits that can prevent me from just coming from there, because all the arrangements have already been done. But now you want me to cancel everything, even the transport. People who are in charge, I need to get them again all over and all that. So, I mean, what is it? What is the major problem?
Coming up, it is a long wedding morning as the groom is faced with a transport crisis. And just a few hours to the wedding, and the bridesmaids' bouquets are nowhere to be found.
Where the other flowers?
Ndio nataka kuuliza.
It is Carol's day of reckoning, and the groom's folkmen have arrived well ahead of time to get their bride. The bride was up early with excitement. Her original choice of dress may not be here. She may be the star of the day, but her baby girl is going to be having some of Mummy's light shining on her. 1.5 hours to the ceremony, and the girls are ready to leave for church. Only their bouquets are missing.
Where the other flowers?
Ndio nataka kuuliza.
She gave us a list of 3. I think maybe what happened is as time went on, you know the way they keep putting people? I think that is what happened to Carol. So in the morning, they're calling and they're saying it's 7 mates. Because actually even in the contract and everything else, it is 3 mates. So what we are doing, we are making. So let me rush, I bring the bouquets.
The bride is a beautician, and she is being driven to church by one of her long-term clients.
She does my nails. I have been her client for the last 3 years.
Her ceremony begins at 11 a.m., and with the clock ticking away so fast, we hope the bride can make it to her wedding on time.
She's already on the way, I have been told. I hope we'll be on time.
Finally, their marriage is solemnized, and there is a sense of pride in the bride, groom, and even the parents for having done things right. What more can they ask for but to celebrate with all the people who have seen her grow into this day? Heading for the reception. And from the look of things, the restaurant-style reception setup is complete. The decor is an excellent balance of brown and gold. And even though the bride only gets to see it today, the white forest cake stands as the centerpiece of the cake table. The celebration would not be conclusive without the cutting of the cake. She may have compromised and given leeway to being coerced into certain things. But all in all, this is a perfect day.
This was my day, and it was very, very perfect, and I loved it. It was perfect.
It is wedding day at Gracia Gardens.
I woke up at 6, had a shower, and by 6:45 we were having our breakfast together with the maids.
The plan is to have the ceremony at 11 a.m., treat the guests to a sumptuous lunch, and declare the wedding officially over by 3 o'clock.
I wanted the wedding to start at 11, and by 3 sharp, we are through.
Thanks to the bride's stern warning.
So I told them, by 10 o'clock, if you're not there, it doesn't matter. We are moving on without you.
The maids have all made a point of arriving on time.
Boy, oh boy, has it been a day? I'm very happy that my friend is getting married. I think I need a husband too. No, on a serious note, stop laughing. Who doesn't want to look like that? I mean, every girl, in every woman, there's that little Cinderella. You all want to look pretty, so. I'm searching.
The flower girls look angelic in their white pickup dresses. Their gold waistbands make a complete circle in a neat bow on the back, just like the bride wanted. And all, the bride included, are set to go. Only the mother of the bride is nowhere.
Please listen to the instructions. Don't say you know and you don't know. Now you take that road and come with it. The first turn on your left. Convent Drive. Uingie kwa sababu unatuchelewesha. The driver has lost my mom.
The groom, on the other hand, is racing against time.
The night was it was very short. I slept at 1 o'clock and I was up by 4 a.m.
He sent his wedding shirt to the laundry to be picked up a day to the wedding.
The shirt that I was going to wear during the wedding was being cleaned.
But after a delayed rehearsal, he realized maybe there is a need for plan B.
And when we left after the rehearsal, we found the place had closed. But later in the night, I was thinking, suppose I go in the morning and I find the place locked. What do I do?
The thought of waking up to no shirt on his wedding day was terrifying enough to get him shopping in the middle of the night.
I decided to go and buy another shirt. I bought it about 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. in the morning.
And now it is the morning of the wedding, and not only is his shirt locked up at the laundry, but the groom is also faced with a transportation crisis.
There is this gentleman, a good friend of mine, who had agreed to give me 2 cars. He was not picking my phone calls. He was asleep. There were no cars. Something happened. I don't think he took it seriously, because something happened. 1 car was not available. It was only now 1 car that was available.
With the wedding coming up in a few hours' time, the groom has had one hectic morning.
I'm telling her, this is the day for our reunion. Though it's a short session, which will take less than 1 hour, but it's so important to me. I really love her very much. I think she's the best thing I ever got in life, and I not want to leave her.
And just like it happens with his favorite sport,
You know, I play football, and just before a big game, you're always anxious, you know.
back to the bride. Her mother has not arrived yet, and the bride is about to hit the roof.
We don't have time losing temper. Today is the day. The day has come. You lose your temper yesterday or tomorrow.
The morning does not escape some drama.
It is James. Who could James be? Livy. Hello? Sema. Huh? Okay, either I'm hard of hearing, or there's somebody who is called James on your phone and he says Nikotausu Nikuje. And you're supposed
But with the arrival of her crystal bouquet, the bride has reason to smile. Her mother has somehow found her way in, and finally, the occasion can begin.
Elated, excited. I can't wait. I'm ready. I feel good. We're just waiting for them. Everyone is ready.
The ceremony grounds are all set. The flower arrangement rests beautifully on the logs, giving the reception a different and tasteful look. The chairs and tables are neat rows of black and orange. And this may not be what others wanted, but it is what the bride wants. The groom is done running last-minute errands, and even the red carpet awaits the bride's arrival. When she does arrive, the bridesmaids dance down with the groomsmen. Their African designs are accentuated with gold for an elegant look. And the bridesmaids are carrying clutch bags as opposed to bouquets. There is a moment of silence before the bride's grand entrance. She makes her way down the red-carpeted aisle in a white spaghetti-strap pickup gown.
Joining together with Moibe Mose and Evelyn Otela.
I, George Moibi Mose,
I, Evelyn Abisagi Otela, to be my lawfully wedded husband,
to love and to cherish,
from this day forward,
rejoicing with you in victories,
for better and for worse.
Till death do us part.
And thereto I give you my vow.
The reception is about letting loose to the tunes of assorted African music. She has had to play tough to get what she wants. And from the joy in their faces, this couple is having their wedding just like they wanted it. So as the professor says,
De gustibus non est disputandum.
Yes, you can say that again.
De gustibus non est disputandum.
It is a Latin maxim meaning there is no disputing about tastes. The implication is that opinions about matter of taste cannot be objectively right or wrong, and hence disagreements about matters of taste cannot be objectively resolved. Ancient languages aside, if you find yourself cornered by "you have to" addicts, just memorize this phrase. We are doing things differently. Repeat the phrase until they get tired of pestering you about their requirements. All in all, family relations are complex. And yes, you may want to defer the wishes of others under some circumstances, but even so, remember, you don't have to. And whether you play nice or act brave, as long as you are at peace with how much ground you can give in, your celebration will be a perfect day.